How does a mother decide you are no longer family in one message? Why did my sister like it was a joke? Can you blame me for doing the only lawful thing they actually respected? Money, systems, and consequences? My name is Ethan Crowell, and I'm 41 years old. I work as an operations supervisor at a regional utilities contractor called Midland Power Solutions. It's the kind of job most people don't think about until their lights don't turn on or their water stops running. Then suddenly everyone cares about what we do, but on regular days, we're invisible. We keep the infrastructure running, we prevent disasters before they happen, and we show up when systems fail at 3 a.m. I've been doing this for 16 years. Started as a field technician right out of community college, worked my way up through cable pulling, substation maintenance, dispatch coordination, and finally supervisor. I know every piece of equipment we use, every safety protocol, every shortcut that looks tempting but ends in disaster. My crew respects me because I don't sit in an office pretending to understand their work. I've done every job they do, usually in worse conditions. My boss, Martin Hendricks, is 58 and counting down to retirement. He respects me because I make his life easier. When corporate calls asking why a job went over budget, I have the answers. When a client threatens to sue because of a delay, I have the documentation. When the schedule falls apart because of weather or equipment failure, I rebuild it. Martin once told me I was the most boring person he'd ever worked with, and he meant it as the highest compliment. Boring means reliable, he'd said. Reliable means I sleep at night. I took it as a compliment because it's true. I like systems. I like knowing that if I do X, Y will happen. I like schedules, protocols, and clear expectations. Chaos exhausts me. Drama exhausts me. I've built my entire life around avoiding both, which is probably why I ended up becoming my family's personal ATM without even realizing it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. It was a Tuesday, early November, the kind of day where the sky is gray and heavy, but the rain hasn't started yet, just threatens. I was at the dispatch office going over the weekly schedule with my crew. We had 18 active jobs, 3 emergency repairs on standby, and 1 angry client who kept calling to complain about noise levels. "Boss, we've got a problem with the Riverside job," Danny Cho said. "He's 26, been with us for 3 years, good worker but still learning how to handle client bullshit." "They've rescheduled again." I looked at the tablet he handed me. 3rd reschedule in 4 weeks. "What's the reason this time?" I asked. "They say the site isn't ready. Same thing they said last time." "And the time before that?" "Yeah." I pulled up the contract on my laptop, scanned through the terms, found what I was looking for. "We bill them for the cancellation," I said. "It's in Section 7, Paragraph 3. Client-initiated delays within 48 hours of scheduled service incur a 25% restocking fee plus labor costs for crew reassignment." Danny's eyes widened. "Seriously?" "They signed it. But they're gonna complain." "Let them. The contract doesn't care about complaints." He grinned. "That's cold, boss." "No, Danny, that's clear. Clear as kind. Letting someone think the rules don't apply to them and then surprising them later, that's cruel. This way, everyone knows what to expect." He nodded slowly, like he was processing something that hadn't occurred to him before. Then he took the tablet back and walked away. I went back to the schedule, moved the Riverside crew to a backup job, flagged the client account for billing review, sent Martin a summary email so he'd have it if they escalated. The whole thing took maybe 10 minutes. That's the thing about systems. When they work, problems become procedures. Emotions become irrelevant. Around noon, I walked to the break room to microwave some leftovers. The room was small, 6 chairs, 2 tables, 1 ancient refrigerator that hummed too loud, and a coffee maker that produced something barely drinkable. 2 guys from the administrative office were standing by the counter talking. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I was just standing there waiting for the microwave to beep. "Yeah, his family's got it made," one of them said. I recognized his voice. "Todd something. Works in billing." "How so?" the other guy asked. "He pays for everything. His mom was in here a few months back picking up some paperwork, and she was going on and on about how generous he is, how he takes care of everybody, how lucky they are." "Damn, must be nice." "For them, yeah. He's over here working overtime while they're probably living large." They both laughed. I stood there staring at the microwave countdown. 3 minutes, 41 seconds. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. They didn't know I was listening, didn't know I was standing right there, or maybe they did and didn't care. The microwave beeped. I grabbed my food and walked back to my desk without acknowledging them, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. She was going on and on about how generous he is. Generous. Like it was charity. Like it was a choice. I sat at my desk and opened my banking app while my food got cold. Started scrolling through recurring charges, saw names I recognized, saw amounts I'd stopped noticing because they'd become automatic. $97 a month. Phone plan, 4 lines, mine, plus 3 others. $43 a month. Streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. I only watched one of them. $68 a month. Car insurance, a rider for someone else's vehicle. $150 a month. Medical payment plan, not mine. $312 last month on a credit card I'd added someone to as an authorized user. $500 a month. Rent assistance. Just temporary. 8 months ago. I closed the app before I got to the total. Not because I didn't want to know, because I already knew, and seeing the number wouldn't change anything. The rest of the day passed in a blur. I answered emails, updated schedules, reviewed safety reports, approved timesheets. At 5:30, I clocked out and drove home. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in a complex that's clean but not fancy. 2nd floor, corner unit, parking spot right below my balcony. The rent is reasonable, the neighbors are quiet, and maintenance actually fixes things when they break. After the divorce, I downsized. Didn't need space, didn't need status, just needed functional. Inside, the apartment is organized to the point where some people might call it sterile, but I call it efficient. Kitchen to the right, living room straight ahead, bedroom and bathroom to the left. My desk sits by the window in the living room, positioned so I can see the parking lot and the trees beyond it. Next to the desk is a filing cabinet with labeled drawers, bills, receipts, insurance, subscriptions, family. That last one has gotten thicker over the years. I made dinner, spaghetti with jarred sauce, nothing complicated, and ate while scrolling through my phone. Checked work emails, checked the news, checked the weather. Then, almost as an afterthought, I opened the family group chat. 17 unread messages. I scrolled through them. Sloan had posted a photo of her desk with a motivational quote about grinding in silence. 6 people had liked it. Noah had asked if anyone wanted to meet up for drinks this weekend. No responses. Gavin had replied to something from 3 days ago with a thumbs-up emoji. My mother had shared a meme about family being everything. Then, at the bottom, a new message. Posted 18 minutes ago. From my mother. I read it once, then again, then a 3rd time. Ethan, after a lot of thought and prayer, we've decided you're no longer part of this family. Please don't come to any future gatherings. We need to protect our peace. I stared at the screen. The words didn't feel real. They felt like something from a TV show. Something someone else's mother would say. Not mine. Then I saw the reaction notification below it. Sloan had liked it. Not commented, not called, not sent a private message asking what happened. She'd liked it. Like it was a recipe. Like it was a funny video. Like it was nothing. I set my phone down on the kitchen counter and looked at the stove clock. 8:41 p.m. My chest felt tight, but not with sadness. Not with anger either. something else, something that felt like a switch flipping, like a breaker cutting power to a circuit that had been overloaded for too long. I picked up the phone and typed a response. "Thank you for clarifying. I'll cancel all auto payments tonight." Read it over once, made sure the tone was neutral, not angry, not pleading, just factual. Hit send. Then I opened my banking app again. This time I didn't close it. I went through every recurring charge, one by one. Phone plan, $97 per month. Cancel. Streaming bundle, $43 per month. Cancel. Car insurance rider, $68 per month. Cancel. Medical payment plan, $150 per month. Cancel. Credit card authorized user. I couldn't cancel the charges, but I could remove the authorization. Remove. Rent assistance, $500 per month. Cancel. Storage unit, $85 per month. I'd forgotten about that one. Cancel. The app asked me to confirm each cancellation. I confirmed them all. Some were effective immediately. Others were scheduled to process at midnight. I read the fine print carefully, made sure I wasn't breaking any contracts, made sure everything was clean. It was. By the time I finished, the stove clock read 11:54. I set an alarm on my phone for 12:03 a.m. just to make sure everything processed. Then I sat there at the kitchen counter, staring at nothing, feeling everything and nothing at the same time. My phone buzzed at 12:02, notification from my banking app. Auto-pay cancellation confirmed. 7 recurring payments stopped. The stove clock flipped to 12:03. My alarm went off. I turned it off. Then I went to bed. I didn't sleep well. Not because of guilt, that emotion hadn't arrived yet, but because my brain wouldn't shut off. It kept replaying the message, kept replaying Sloane's like, kept calculating numbers, kept asking questions. How long had I been doing this? When did it start? Why did I let it continue? At 6 a.m., I gave up on sleep, made coffee, sat at my desk, stared at the filing cabinet. I pulled open the drawer labeled Family. The oldest folder inside was dated 4 years ago. October, right after the divorce. Jennifer and I had been married for 6 years. It wasn't a bad marriage. No screaming, no cheating, no drama. We just grew into different people. She wanted to move to Portland for a job opportunity in tech. I wanted to stay here where I had stability and a career path. We talked about it for months, went to counseling, tried to compromise. In the end, we realized we were compromising ourselves, not the situation. So we split. Clean divorce, no kids, no shared property except a car we sold, and split the proceeds. She moved to Portland in January. I stayed here. For a while, I was fine. I kept working, kept my routines, kept my head down. Then my mother called. I remember the conversation clearly because it was the first time she'd called me in almost 3 months. She'd been upset about the divorce, not because she particularly liked Jennifer, but because divorce looked bad to her church friends. "Ethan, honey, I know you're going through a difficult time." I was sitting at this same desk, staring at the same filing cabinet. "I'm fine, Mom." "Well, I was thinking, maybe this is an opportunity for you to reconnect with family. You've been so distant since the separation. We miss you." I should have heard the warning in those words. "We miss you." From my mother never meant, "We want to spend time with you." It meant, "We need something from you." But I was tired and lonely, and maybe a little bit desperate for connection. "I miss you too," I said. "Good. That's so good to hear, sweetheart. Listen, while I have you on the phone, Gavin and I are having a little trouble with the mortgage this month. Nothing serious, just a gap in the budget. You know how it is. Could you help us out? Just this once? Just this once." I pulled out the folder and found the bank transfer receipt. $800, sent October 14th, 4 years ago. The next folder was dated November. Same year. Another call, another gap, another request. "Ethan, I hate to ask, but we're a little short again. The furnace broke, and the repair was more expensive than we thought. Could you spot us 1,000? We'll pay you back by Christmas. I found the receipt. $1,000. Sent November 28th. They didn't pay me back by Christmas. The folders kept going, month after month, year after year. The requests got more creative, more urgent, more layered. Ethan, Sloane's phone plan is so expensive. Could you add her to yours? It would save her so much money. Ethan, Noah's car insurance went up. He's trying to save for his future. Could you cover the difference for a few months? Ethan, I need a payment plan for some dental work, but they want a cosigner. You have good credit, right? Every time I said yes, not because I was generous, not because I had money to spare, but because saying no meant an argument. And arguments meant my mother crying. And my mother crying meant Sloane posting passive-aggressive messages about family loyalty. And Gavin giving me that disappointed look like I'd failed some test I didn't know I was taking. So I said yes. And then I said yes again and again. By the end of year 1, I was paying for their phone plan. By the end of year 2, I was paying for insurance, subscriptions, and medical bills. By the end of year 3, I was covering rent gaps and storage units. By the end of year 4, I'd stopped keeping track of individual amounts because it was too depressing. I pulled out a spreadsheet I'd created 2 years ago when I tried to get my finances under control. It listed every recurring charge tied to my family, organized by category and monthly cost. Phone plan, 97-month streaming services, 43-month car insurance rider, 68-month medical payment plan, 150-month credit card authorized user, 312-month average rent assistance, 500-month storage unit, 85-month total, 1,255-month multiply by 12, 15,000, 60-year multiply by 4 years, $60,240, $60,240. I stared at the number. $60,000. For people who just told me I wasn't family. My phone buzzed. I almost didn't check it. Then I saw it was from an unknown number. I opened the message. It was a screenshot of the family group chat. My message. "Thank you for clarifying. I'll cancel all auto payments tonight," was visible. Below it, someone had typed, "They've been planning something bigger." No name. No context. No follow-up information. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I saved the screenshot and went back to the folders. I found the one labeled Gatherings. My mother loves gatherings. She calls them celebrations, but really they're performances. She invites everyone she knows, church friends, neighbors, book club members, random acquaintances from the grocery store, and she makes sure everyone sees how close our family is, how supportive we are, how blessed she is to have such wonderful children. I pulled out photos from the last gathering, Thanksgiving, 2 years ago. There's one of me standing awkwardly near the kitchen while everyone else poses for a group photo. Another of my mother hugging Sloane in front of a decorative fall display. Another of Noah laughing at something Gavin said. I remember that day clearly. I'd driven 3 hours to get there, brought 2 pies I'd bought from a bakery because my mother specifically requested them, helped set up tables and chairs, stayed late to clean up. During dinner, my mother stood up and gave a speech. I just want to say how grateful I am for this family, for all of you. Ethan, especially, you're always so generous, always thinking of others. We're so lucky to have you. Everyone clapped. I smiled and nodded because that's what you do. After dinner, my mother pulled me aside in the kitchen. "Ethan, I need to talk to you about something." "Okay." I was looking at my budget, and I'm a little concerned about the dental payment plan. The monthly amount is higher than I expected. Do you think you could increase what you're contributing, just by $50 or so? I was loading the dishwasher. I stopped and looked at her. "Mom, I'm already paying the entire plan." "I know, and I'm so grateful. But there's been some unexpected costs, and I need a little more help right now." "What unexpected costs?" "Just things, life things. You know how it is." I didn't know. but I also didn't want to argue in someone else's kitchen during Thanksgiving. "I'll see what I can do," I said. "Thank you, sweetheart. You're such a good son." I closed the folder and opened another one. This one was labeled Sloan. Sloan is my younger sister, 35, works as an office administrator for a real estate company, though based on her social media presence, you'd think she was a lifestyle influencer. Every day there's a new post about productivity, motivation, success mindsets, grinding in silence, manifesting abundance. Meanwhile, she'd been asking me for money since the year I added her to my phone plan. I'd kept a list, not because I wanted to throw it in her face, but because I needed to see it clearly, needed to know I wasn't imagining things. January. "Hey, can you cover my car payment this month? Tessa and I are saving for a down payment on a house." February. "My credit card got declined at the store and I'm so embarrassed. Can you send me $200 to cover it? I'll pay you back Friday." March. "I know I said I'd pay you back last month, but things have been crazy. Can you just spot me another $300? June. "The car payment thing again. Sorry. Just one more time." August. "Hey, so I totally forgot about this subscription charge, and now I'm short on rent. Can you help?" October. "I promise this is the last time. $500 just until my bonus comes through." Every time I sent the money. Every time she said she'd pay me back. She never did. I added up the total. $12,400 over 3 years. But asking for it back would make me the bad guy. Asking for it back would mean I was keeping score. Asking for it back would mean I didn't understand what family meant. So I never asked. I closed that folder and pulled out another one. This one was just labeled Messages. I'd been screenshotting conversations for about a year, not because I was planning anything, just because I was starting to notice patterns and I wanted proof that I wasn't crazy. One from my mother 6 months ago. "Ethan, I'm a little hurt that you didn't call me last week. I was in the hospital for some tests and I could have used your support." I'd called her 3 times that week. She hadn't answered, hadn't called back, hadn't mentioned any tests. Another from Sloan 3 months ago. "It's funny how you're always so busy for family but never too busy for work. Maybe check your priorities." I'd taken a half day off to help her move furniture. Threw out my back doing it. She'd bought me a coffee as payment. Another from my mother 2 months ago. "I don't understand why you're being so distant lately. Family should be your priority. I raised you better than this." I'd sent her $500 that same week because she said she was short on groceries. I closed the folders and put them back in the filing cabinet. Then I just sat there, staring at the wall. My phone rang. My mother's number. I stared at it. Let it ring. 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Then I answered. "Hello?" Ethan. Her voice was tight, controlled. The voice she used when she was trying not to scream. "We need to talk." "Okay." "What is this I'm hearing about you canceling things? You told me I'm not part of the family. I acted accordingly." "That's not... I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it?" "I meant that you've been distant, that you haven't been showing up for us emotionally. I was trying to get your attention." "You got it." Silence on the other end. I could hear her breathing. Fast, shallow. "Ethan, don't be ridiculous. You can't just cut everyone off like this." "Why not?" "Because we're family." "You said I wasn't." "I said you weren't acting like family. There's a difference." "Is there?" "Yes, obviously. And you know what? This just proves my point. You're being selfish." I almost laughed. Actually, almost laughed. "Mom, I've been paying over $15,000 a year to support you, Sloan, Noah, and Gavin. For 4 years. That's over $60,000. And you're calling me selfish because I stopped. That's different." "How?" "Because that's what family does. We help each other." "When have you helped me?" Silence. "When have any of you helped me?" I asked again. "What have you contributed to my life except requests and guilt?" "I don't have to listen to this." "Then don't." "Ethan, I am your mother. You will not speak to me this way. You told me I'm not part of the family, so technically, you're not my mother anymore. You made that choice. I could hear her voice crack. You're being cruel. No, Mom, I'm being clear. You're just not used to it. We have Noah's banquet next week. It's important. He's finally getting his life together, and we want to celebrate him. We need you there. You told me not to come to gatherings. I told you. I didn't mean it like that. I was upset. I was emotional. You know how I get. I do know. That's exactly the problem. Ethan, please, don't do this to me. Not right now. People are talking. They're asking questions. They're going to think we're dysfunctional. Are we not? Stop it. Just stop. You're going to ruin everything. Noah's worked so hard for this opportunity, and you're going to ruin it because you're having some kind of emotional breakdown. I'm not having a breakdown. I'm setting boundaries. Boundaries. She said the word like it was poison. That's just therapy talk for being selfish. If that's what you think, then I'm selfish. Ethan, I have to go, Mom. I have work in the morning. Don't you dare hang up on me. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from adrenaline, from the sheer unfamiliarity of the action. I'd never hung up on her before, never not apologized, never let her sit with the consequences of her own words. I set the phone on the desk and stared at it. 30 seconds later, it rang again. I didn't answer. It rang 4 more times over the next hour. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I opened my laptop and created a new document, titled it Timeline. Then I started documenting everything, every request, every payment, every conversation, every guilt trip, every manipulation. By the time I finished, it was 2 a.m, and I had 17 pages of documentation. Thursday morning, I woke up to 14 missed calls and 23 text messages. Most were from Sloan. What is your problem? Mom is crying because of you. You're being incredibly selfish right now. You're acting insane. Just apologize and fix this. One was from Noah. Dude, what's going on? Mom's freaking out. 2 were from numbers I didn't recognize, telling me I should be ashamed. I deleted them all without responding. The day was routine. Work, schedules, timesheets. Around lunch, I stopped at the grocery store. In the checkout line, I heard familiar voices behind me. 2 women from my mother's church group. Oh yes, next Saturday. It's for Noah, some kind of celebration. Those events must cost a fortune. Oh, I'm sure. But you know Marianne, she always finds a way. I think Ethan helps out quite a bit. He's very generous. She's always talking about how he takes care of the family. She's very blessed. The usual way. Meaning me. Meaning my money. They all knew I was funding these performances while my mother took credit. I paid and left. That evening, I stopped at the pharmacy. The technician scanned my card twice, then looked up. I'm sorry, sir. This card is being declined. Try it again. Same result. Can you tell me what prescription this is for? It's under Ethan Crowell. Are you authorized on this account? I was. Understanding crossed her face. Would you like me to remove the payment method? It's already been removed. I paid for my own prescription and left. At home, I opened my laptop and updated my timeline document. Thursday, November 9th. Overheard church members discussing my financial support. Confirmed my role as the usual way is publicly known. Thursday, November 9th. Discovered pharmacy prescription on my payment method. Removed. Then I created a new document. Evidence log. Screenshots of messages. Bank statements. Transfer receipts. Cancellation confirmations. Everything dated. Everything categorized. Everything clean. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. They're talking about making you look unstable. Be ready. I saved the screenshot. Then I looked at my calendar. November 18th. Noah's banquet. I'd never been officially invited, but they were planning it like I'd still be funding it. I made a decision. I was going to attend. Not to apologize, not to beg, to watch, to be present when the consequences arrived. I created a calendar reminder and went back to organizing evidence. Friday morning, I called my insurance company. "Hi, this is Ethan Crowell, policy number 47992CX. I need to remove someone from my auto insurance." "Sure, I can help with that. Who are you removing?" "Sloan Crowell." I heard typing. "Okay, I see she's listed as an additional driver on your policy. She's been on here for 26 months. Can I ask the reason for the removal?" "She's no longer part of my household." "Understood. Just so you know, this will reduce your premium by approximately $68 per month." "That's fine. The change will take effect at the end of your current billing cycle. That's next Friday, November 17th. You'll see the adjustment on your December statement." "Thank you. Is there anything else I can help you with today?" "No, that's all." I hung up. Then I called the phone company. "Hi, I need to make changes to my family plan." "Sure thing. What kind of changes?" "I need to remove 3 lines." "Okay. Can I have your account number?" I gave it to her. "And which lines are you removing?" I listed the 3 phone numbers. My mother's, Sloan's, Noah's. More typing. "All right. I've got those pulled up. Just so you're aware, removing these lines will terminate service to those numbers. The users will need to port their numbers to new carriers or set up new accounts if they want to keep them." "I understand. Is there a specific reason you're removing them?" "Sometimes we can offer solutions." "No, just remove them." "Okay. This will process tonight at midnight. The users will receive a notification that service has been terminated, and they'll have 72 hours to port their numbers before they're released back into the pool." "Perfect. Your new monthly rate will be $26 for a single line. You'll see that reflected on your next bill." "Thank you." I hung up and sat there for a moment, staring at my desk. 72 hours. They'd have 72 hours of chaos before their numbers disappeared completely. Good. That afternoon, I left work early and drove to the bank. Asked to speak with Diane Mercer, the relationship manager I'd worked with for years. She met me in one of the small private offices near the back. "Ethan, good to see you. What can I do for you today?" I pulled out a folder, set it on the desk. "I need to verify what's in my name, what's authorized, and what I can cancel or revoke without legal complications." She opened the folder, started reviewing the documents I'd printed: account summaries, auto-pay schedules, authorized user lists, transfer histories. Her expression stayed professional, but I saw something flicker in her eyes. Understanding, maybe, or recognition. "This is very thorough," she said after a moment. "I work in systems. I don't like loose ends." She nodded. "Give me a few minutes. I want to pull up your full account history." She turned to her computer, started typing, clicking, scrolling. 10 minutes passed, then 15, then 20. Finally, she turned back to me. "Okay, here's what I'm seeing. You're the primary account holder on all of these accounts: the checking, the savings, the credit cards. The people listed here," she tapped the authorized user section, "they have permission to use these accounts, but they don't have ownership. They don't have rights. Permission can be revoked at any time, for any reason, by the primary account holder. What about the auto-pay cancellations? Those processed Wednesday night at 12:02 a.m., they're complete. No disputes have been filed, no flags on the account. Can they dispute them? No. Auto-pay is a convenience service. It's not a contract. You can start or stop it whenever you want. What if someone claims I owe them money? What if they say these were loans? Do you have any written agreements? Any loan documents? Any contracts stating repayment terms? No. Then they're gifts, voluntary payments. You have no legal obligation to continue them or to repay anything." I felt my shoulders relax slightly. What about the credit card? The authorized user? You can remove authorized users at any time. They'll lose access immediately. Any charges they made before the removal will still be your responsibility. but anything after removal is not your problem. How do I remove them? She picked up her phone, made a call, spoke to someone in the credit department, gave them my account information. Done, she said, hanging up. Ethan Crowell has been removed as an authorized user. He'll receive a notification in the next 24 hours. The card associated with his name will be deactivated. Thank you. She closed the folder and slid it back to me. Can I ask what this is about? Family. Ah, she nodded. Not surprised, not judgmental, just understanding. I've seen this before. More than you'd think. Yeah? People forget that money is the easiest way to control someone. Give them access to yours, and they'll use it as proof that you owe them something. Forever. That's exactly what happened. Well, you're handling it correctly. Everything you've done is legal. Everything is clean. If anyone tries to claim otherwise, you have documentation. She tapped the folder. Keep this. Keep all of it. I will. I left the bank and sat in my car for a few minutes, staring at the folder. Legal. Clean. Final. Those 3 words felt like armor. I drove to a diner on the other side of town, the kind of place with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tastes like it's been sitting on a burner since morning. I texted Priya. Free for lunch? She replied immediately. Give me 20. Where? I sent her the address. 23 minutes later, she walked in. Priya Nand is 40 years old, an accountant with her own practice, and the most relentlessly practical person I've ever met. We worked together years ago. She was auditing my company's books. I was the supervisor who actually had organized records, and we stayed in touch. She slid into the booth across from me and ordered black coffee. You sounded stressed in your text. Not stressed, clear. Those aren't mutually exclusive. I pulled out my phone, showed her the timeline document, the evidence log, the bank confirmations. She read through everything methodically, sipping her coffee, making small, sounds, taking notes on a small pad she always carried. Finally, she looked up. You did it right. You're sure? Ethan, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've seen people lose everything because they couldn't separate family from finance. I've seen bankruptcies, destroyed credit, houses foreclosed because someone couldn't say no to their relatives. You didn't do that. You set a boundary. You documented it. You followed through. That's not revenge. That's survival. They're calling me selfish. Of course they are. That's what people say when you stop letting them use you. They're planning a banquet next week. For Noah. I heard people talking about it. They're assuming I'm still paying for it. How much does something like that cost? Knowing my mother, venue rental, catering, decorations, photographer, probably $3,000 to $5,000. Priya whistled. And they haven't confirmed payment? I don't think so. I think they just assumed. So they're about to have a very expensive problem in a very public space. Probably. She leaned back. Good. Is that wrong? That I want to watch it happen? No. It's human. They humiliated you. They disowned you. They took your money and then told you that you weren't family. Watching them face consequences isn't revenge. It's justice. My mother called me cruel. Your mother is a manipulator. Don't let her redefine words. Cruelty is what she did to you. What you're doing is called boundaries. We talked for another 40 minutes. About documentation. About protecting myself if they tried to escalate. About what to do if they showed up at my apartment or my workplace. Keep everything, she said. Every message, every screenshot, every receipt. If they try to claim you owe them, if they try to damage your reputation, if they try to interfere with your life, you'll need proof. I've got it. I know you do. That's why you'll be fine. She paid for her coffee, she always insisted, and left. I sat there for a few more minutes, staring at my phone. A new message appeared in the family group chat, from my mother. RSVP for Noah's celebration banquet by tonight. We need a final head count for catering. Below it, Sloan had added a passive-aggressive smiley face emoji. I stared at the message. I hadn't been invited. I'd been told I wasn't family. I'd been told not to come to gatherings. And yet here they were, acting like nothing had happened. Like I'd just show up and everything would be fine. Or maybe they just assumed I'd already paid for it, and they didn't care if I attended. I didn't reply to the message. But I saved another screenshot. Then I opened my calendar and confirmed the entry for next Saturday. Noah's Banquet, 6 p.m., Community Event Hall. I was going to be there, not because I was invited, because I wanted to watch. Saturday morning, I woke up to silence. No messages, no calls, no notifications. It felt strange, like the calm before something breaks. I made coffee, made breakfast, sat at my desk and opened my laptop, reviewed everything one more time. The timeline, the evidence log, the bank confirmations, the cancellation notices. Everything was clean, everything was organized, everything was final. Then I pulled up my email and started going through old messages, searching for specific keywords. Payment, help, urgent, family. Found hundreds of results. I organized them by sender, by date, by amount requested, created a new document. Communication history. Started adding entries. October 15th, 4 years ago. Email from mother. Subject, quick favor. Content, request for $800 mortgage assistance. November 3rd, 4 years ago. Email from mother. Subject, sorry to ask again. Content, request for $1,000 furnace repair. January 12th, 3 years ago. Email from Sloan. Subject, can you help? Content, request for $500 car payment. March 7th, 3 years ago. Text from mother. Content, request to add Sloan to phone plan. June 22nd, 3 years ago. Email from mother. Subject, family meeting. Content, request for Noah's car insurance coverage. On and on, page after page, hundreds of requests, thousands of dollars, years of accumulation. I printed everything, put it in a folder, added it to the filing cabinet. Then I called the storage unit facility. Hi, this is Ethan Crowell. I need to confirm the cancellation of Unit 247. Let me check. Yes, I have that cancellation on file. Your final payment was processed on November 8th. The unit is paid through the end of this month. After that, any remaining contents become the property of the facility. Perfect. Thank you. Do you need access to remove any items before then? No, the contents don't belong to me. Understood. We'll send a notification to the contact information on file. That would be my mother's email. Got it. She'll receive the notification on December 1st. I hung up. $85 a month for 3 years. $3,060 for furniture that was supposed to be stored temporarily. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. They're trying to figure out what you're planning. Stay quiet. I stared at the message. Whoever was sending these knew something, knew enough to warn me, knew enough to track what my family was saying behind my back. Part of me wanted to know who it was. Part of me didn't want to know. I saved the screenshot and moved on. That afternoon, I went to the car wash. Not because my car was dirty, but because I needed to think. Needed space. Needed the mindless routine of sitting in the bay while water and soap and brushes did their work. I pulled in, paid, put the car in neutral, watched the machinery activate. While the wash cycled through its stages, I pulled out my phone, opened the family group chat, read through old messages, went back months, then years, saw the pattern clearly. Every time I set a boundary, my mother would post something about family values, or loyalty, or staying close through hard times. Every time I questioned a request, Sloan would post something about supporting each other, or being there when it matters. Every time I said I needed space, someone would post a guilt-inducing meme about forgetting where you came from. And every time I'd fold. I'd apologize, I'd pay up, I'd show up, I'd keep quiet, because keeping the peace was easier than standing my ground. But peace built on silence isn't peace, it's compliance. The car wash finished, the light turned green. I drove forward, Sat in the parking lot for a minute, engine idling, staring at nothing. My phone buzzed, a notification from my banking app. Account summary: total monthly recurring payments reduced by $1,050. New balance available for personal use. $1,255 a month. I'd been paying $1,255 a month to people who told me I wasn't family. I drove home, parked, went inside, sat at my desk, opened my calendar one more time, looked at the entry for next Saturday. 6 p.m. Community Event Hall, Noah's Celebration Banquet. I thought about what would happen, how it would unfold. They'd arrive expecting everything to be perfect, expecting the venue to be paid for, expecting the catering to be ready, expecting the decorations to be in place, and then they'd be told there was a problem with payment, and then they'd panic, and then they'd realize. I pulled out my phone and typed a message to myself, a reminder. Stay calm, stay quiet, let the system speak. Then I went to bed early, tried to sleep, couldn't. Lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my head. Finally, around 2 a.m., I fell asleep. The week passed slowly. Monday through Friday blurred together. Work, routines, silence from the family group chat. Then Friday afternoon, I got a call, my insurance company. Hi, Mr. Crowell. This is Jessica from Midwest Auto Insurance. I'm calling to confirm that Sloan Crowell was removed from your policy as of today. Your new premium will be reflected in your next billing statement. Thank you. Is there anything else we can help you with? No, that's all. An hour later, another call, the phone company. Hi, Mr. Crowell. This is a courtesy follow-up regarding the 3 lines that were removed from your family plan on November 8th. Those numbers are no longer active under your account. The former users have been notified and have 48 hours remaining to port their numbers if they choose. Understood. We've also processed your new monthly rate, $26 for a single line. You'll see that on your next bill. Thank you. I hung up. 48 hours. By Sunday, if they hadn't ported their numbers, they'd lose them entirely. Good. That evening, I got another message from the unknown number. Tomorrow. They're confident. They think you're bluffing. You're not, right? I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed a reply. No, I'm not. Hit send. No response. I spent the rest of the evening organizing one final folder, labeled it Event Documentation. Inside, I put screenshot of my mother's disowning message, screenshot of Sloan's like, list of all canceled payments with confirmation timestamps, bank statement showing the removal of authorized users. Phone company confirmation showing line cancellations. Insurance company confirmation showing policy changes. Timeline of every request, every payment, every manipulation. Everything dated, everything organized, everything ready. Not because I planned to show it publicly, but because I needed to know I had it, needed to know the truth was documented. I went to bed early, set my alarm for 8 a.m. This time, I slept. Saturday morning, I woke up at 8, made coffee, made breakfast, showered, dressed in clean jeans and a dark blue button-down shirt. Nothing fancy, nothing apologetic, just clean and presentable. I sat at my desk and reviewed everything one last time. Then I closed the folders and put them away. At 4:30, I left my apartment. The drive to the community event hall took 40 minutes. I knew the place. My mother had held events there before. It was a large space with high ceilings, wooden floors, a small stage area, and large windows that let in afternoon light. I arrived at 5:15, early enough to see the setup, late enough that people would already be there. The parking lot was half full. I recognized several cars. My mother's silver sedan, Sloan's white SUV, Gavin's old truck. I parked near the back, sat in my car for a moment. My phone buzzed. The unknown number. Good luck. I put the phone in my pocket and got out of the car, walked toward the entrance. The hall was decorated exactly how I'd expected. White tablecloths, gold accents, string lights draped across the ceiling, a banner hanging above the stage that said, "Congratulations, Noah," in elegant script. Tables arranged in a U-shape around a small dance floor, a bar set up near the back, a gift table near the entrance. There were maybe 60 people inside. Church friends, neighbors, relatives I hadn't seen in years, people from my mother's book club, people from Noah's workplace. My mother stood near the stage, talking to a woman in a black vest, probably the event coordinator. Sloan hovered nearby, phone in hand, taking photos for social media. Gavin stood by the bar, looking uncomfortable in a suit jacket that was too tight. Noah was in the center of the room, grinning, shaking hands, soaking up attention. I walked in. For a few seconds, nobody noticed me. Everyone was busy with their own conversations. Then my mother looked up. Her face went pale, actually drained of color. She said something to the coordinator and started walking toward me. Sloan saw me next. Her expression went from confused to angry in about 2 seconds. They reached me at the same time. "Ethan." My mother's voice was tight, controlled. "What are you doing here? It's a family event, you said. You weren't invited. You said I wasn't family, but you didn't actually disinvite me, so I came." Sloan stepped forward. "You need to leave. Right now." "Why?" "Because you're making everyone uncomfortable." I looked around. Most people were still talking, drinking, completely unaware of the tension building near the entrance. "Seems fine to me," I said. My mother's jaw tightened. She grabbed my arm and pulled me toward a corner, away from the crowd. Sloan followed. "Ethan, I don't know what you think you're doing. I'm standing here, that's all. You've been acting insane all week, ignoring our calls, canceling things, hanging up on me. What is wrong with you?" "You told me I'm not family. I respected that. I've already explained this. I didn't mean it the way you took it." "Then how did you mean it?" "I meant you've been distant, emotionally unavailable, not showing up for us. I've been paying for you for 4 years. How is that not showing up?" Her face flushed. "This isn't about money, isn't it?" "No, it's about respect. It's about loyalty. It's about remembering who was there for you when you had nothing." "When did I have nothing?" She didn't answer. "When were you there for me?" I asked. "Name one time in the last 4 years when you helped me with anything that didn't benefit you." "I don't have to justify my love for you." "Love? That's interesting, because from where I'm standing, love looks a lot like a monthly payment." Sloan jumped in. "This is so typical of you. You're twisting everything to make yourself the victim." "Am I?" "Yes. You're acting like we're terrible people because we asked for help. That's what family does. We help each other." "When have you helped me?" She blinked. "What? When have you helped me? What have you ever done for me that didn't involve me giving you money?" "That's not fair. Answer the question." I don't have to answer that. You're being manipulative." "I'm being clear. You just don't like it." The coordinator approached, looking nervous. "Excuse me, Ms. Crowell. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a small issue." My mother turned. "What kind of issue?" "The payment, the deposit, it's not processing." "What do you mean it's not processing?" "The card we have on file was declined. We need another form of payment before we can proceed with service." My mother's face went from pale to red. "That's impossible. Run it again." "We've run it 3 times, ma'am. It keeps declining." She turned to me. Her eyes were wild, desperate. "Ethan, did you cancel the credit card you were using without permission?" "Yes." "You can't do that. That's theft." "It's not theft, it's my account. I'm the primary holder. You were an authorized user. I revoked that authorization." "This is insane. This is actually insane." Sloan pulled out her phone, hands shaking. "I'll pay for it." "How much?" "The balance due is $4,300, the coordinator said. Sloane's face went white. She handed the coordinator her card anyway. The coordinator walked away. 2 minutes later, she came back. "I'm sorry, ma'am. This card was also declined." Sloane stared at the card like it had betrayed her. "That doesn't make sense. I have credit available." "Not enough," I said. "You've been overspending for months. I've been covering the gaps through that insurance payment and the phone plan savings that you didn't know about. Now you're actually responsible for your own spending. You're sabotaging me." "No, I'm just not subsidizing you anymore." My mother stepped closer. Her voice dropped to a hiss. "Ethan, you are destroying this family." "No, Mom. You destroyed it. You just didn't notice until the money stopped." "That's not fair." "Fair?" I pulled out my phone. "Let's talk about fair." I opened the first screenshot, held it up so she could see. "You sent this message on Tuesday, November 7th at 11:47 p.m. You told me I'm no longer part of this family. You told me not to come to any future gatherings. You told me you needed to protect your peace." She looked away. I was upset. "You were manipulating me, like you always do, late at night, when I'd be tired and emotional, when I'd be more likely to fold." I opened the next screenshot. Sloane's like. And Sloane liked it, didn't question it, didn't call to ask what happened, just liked it, like it was a joke, like I was disposable. Sloane's face flushed. "That was an accident." "Was it? Because you never unliked it, never apologized, never said anything at all." I opened the folder labeled Evidence Log. "I've been paying for your phone line for 3 years, your car insurance for 2 years, your streaming services, your unexpected bills, your temporary rent gaps." I scrolled through the list. Mom's dental work, a payment plan I co-signed for because she said she had no one else. Gavin's credit card charges, Noah's rent, a storage unit for furniture you never picked up. I pulled up the bank statements. Not on the screen, I kept those private, but I summarized them. Total, $15,060 per year, for 4 years. That's $60,240. $60,000 for people who told me I wasn't family. The room had gone quiet. People were watching now, turning their heads, lowering their voices, pulling out phones. My mother's voice shook. "You're making a scene." "No, you made a scene. You disowned me in a group text. You exiled me. You tried to humiliate me into compliance. You just didn't expect me to take you seriously." I was upset. I was emotional. You know how I get. I do know. That's the problem. You get upset, you lash out, you manipulate, and then when there are consequences, you claim you didn't mean it. But you did mean it. You always mean it. You just don't like being held accountable. Sloane grabbed my arm. "Ethan, please, just pay for the event. We'll figure everything else out later." I pulled my arm away. "No." "What do you mean, no?" "I mean, I'm not paying for anything anymore. Not for this event, not for your insurance, not for your phone, not for anything. I'm done." "You can't just—" "I can. I did." The coordinator came back, looking increasingly stressed. "I'm sorry, but if we don't have payment in the next 5 minutes, we'll have to cancel the catering service." My mother turned to her, desperate. Can't you work with us? We'll pay you Monday. We'll pay double. Just please don't cancel." "I'm sorry, ma'am. It's company policy. No payment, no service." Gavin finally spoke up. He'd been standing off to the side, watching everything unfold. He walked over, pulled out his wallet. "I'll handle it." He handed the coordinator his credit card. She walked away, ran it, came back. "I'm sorry, sir. This card was also declined." His face went red. "That's not possible. I just used this card yesterday." "It's very possible," I said. "That's the credit card I added you as an authorized user on 2 years ago. Remember? When you needed to rebuild your credit. I removed you Thursday night. The card is no longer active." He stared at me. "You had no right?" "I had every right. It's my account. You were using my credit, my money, my authorization, and I took it back." Noah finally walked over. He'd been standing in the center of the room, watching with increasing alarm as his celebration collapsed around him. "Dude," he said, "why are you doing this? This is my night." "Is it?" I looked at him. "Who paid for this event, Noah? Who was supposed to cover the deposit, the catering, the venue, the decorations? Was it you?" He didn't answer. "Was it your money? Your work? Your responsibility? Or were you just planning to show up, smile for photos, and take credit while someone else footed the bill?" I thought Mom was handling it. Mom was handling it by using my money. Without asking, without permission, because she assumed I'd just keep paying like I always do. "This isn't fair, man. You're ruining everything." "No, I'm just not paying for it anymore. There's a difference." My mother started crying, openly, in front of everyone. "Ethan, please, I'm begging you, don't do this to me, not here, not in front of everyone. You did this to yourself. I'm your mother. You were, until you decided I wasn't your son." The coordinator came back. Her expression was apologetic but firm. "I'm very sorry, but without payment, I have to release the catering staff. They're on a schedule." My mother turned to the crowd, her voice loud, desperate. "Is anyone willing to help us? Please, this is an important night for my son." Silence. A few people looked away, a few checked their phones. Nobody reached for their wallet. Because they'd all been to these events before. They'd all seen the displays, the expensive decorations, the catered meals, the open bars. They'd assumed my mother was wealthy, generous, blessed. Now they were seeing the truth. She turned back to me. "Ethan, I will never forgive you for this." "That's fine. You already told me I'm not family, so your forgiveness means nothing." I pulled out my phone one last time, opened the banking app, showed her the screen. All recurring payments off, all authorizations removed, all automatic transfers canceled. Then I looked around the room, at the 60 people watching, at the phones recording, at the decorations that wouldn't be paid for, at the catering staff packing up their equipment. "For anyone wondering," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "I was told on Tuesday night that I'm no longer part of this family. I was told not to come to gatherings. I was told they needed to protect their peace. I respected that. I canceled every automatic payment tied to my account. I removed every authorized user. I stopped funding people who don't respect me." I looked back at my mother. "You wanted to disown me. Congratulations. You succeeded." I put my phone away and turned toward the door. Behind me, I heard my mother's